as they were being beaten? Was this something similar? And was the look and was the response to their pleas something similar? And again, I became really emotional about it. Then I became upset. I became upset because then I'm thinking to myself, where are my white friends and family? Why are they not outraged? Why are they not saying, hey, this is wrong? And yeah, they did behind closed doors, but certainly not like us. And then I thought to myself, they haven't even charged these guys. So what's happening with that? And then the riot started. And I'm thinking to myself, the riot had already been within me. I was already rioting. I wasn't breaking any glass and stealing any clothes or anything like that. But I was definitely enraged to the point to where I wanted to smash the very thing that I felt perpetuated this. And again, it wasn't glass, it wasn't stealing clothes, it wasn't stealing, breaking through stores, but there's something within America that needs to be broken and smashed, and it's racism. And that's how I felt when I saw the video of George Floyd.
Thank you. And then did you want to talk a little bit about your experiences personally?
What's that?
Did you want to speak a little bit more on your experiences personally?
All right. Thanks.
I can't hear.
Jay, thanks for sharing that. Obviously, having technical difficulties a little bit here. Hey, awesome that we have 71 people watching, listening in. I think it's super important for people to hear. I think we'll transition. We're going to try, I was obviously having issues with my computer, but we're going to try to keep each person, we're going to have a dialogue. Each person's going to talk about how they're feeling, what's going on in their life, and then we're going to end with how they feel we as a community can help bring about change in the world. So we're going to transition into Courtney. Courtney is one of our recruiters here at Mixed Staffing and a huge impactor in the community. She has hired over 150 people who have been a part of the criminal justice system. 70% of those people were of color. And so we'd love to hear your story, Courtney.
Thank you. So hopefully you guys can hear me all right. And I have notes, as you can see, so I'm gonna try to keep it within 8 minutes. But again, I'm Courtney, I'm a recruiter with Mixed Staffing, and I'm a Calvin grad with a BSW. So I just kind of want to start with, I'm sure everyone has seen the video or actually the commercial that Nickelodeon posted for 8 minutes long saying that I can't breathe. And I remember a woman posting and going viral saying that she was frustrated and it was scaring her child. And though her child was scared for 8 minutes, sadly, this is where it starts for a lot of children. I just think of like constantly in school being made fun of for the way my hair looked, my nose, my lips, features that are known for Black people have been laughed at. My dark-skinned brothers and sisters being called dirty because of the way that they looked and crying and trying to clean their skin, wondering why they don't look like their friends when in reality there was nothing wrong with the way that they looked. I remember in 5th grade specifically, my teacher, we were singing a song about animals in the jungle in Africa. And I still remember it, and I will not sing it to bear all of your ears. But I still remember my 5th grade teacher stopping the music and scolding all the Black people who were not singing the song and saying, like, you guys should be ashamed for not singing this song because it's of your people. And even in 5th grade, I remember feeling anger and frustration. So though kids are scared, it starts that young, sadly. I still remember in middle school being racially profiled, literally trying to walk to the mall. An officer accused my friends and I of selling drugs and we were in middle school, and it baffled me. And how does someone who's 13, 14 years old wrap their minds around someone coming up to them and accusing them of something that's so bold? But I remember a lot of experiences where I just dealt with microaggressions in college, actually. So I was hoping that by going to a Christian school and people who had similar beliefs and faith as mine, that I wouldn't have to deal with things like that. And in a sense, it actually got a bit worse. So I did the Entrada Scholars Program, which was a program that helps build diversity and inclusion through Calvin. And I enjoyed the program thoroughly, but it definitely put me into culture shock when I got onto campus my freshman year. My mom, when we went to do the first day freshman orientation, she was like, Courtney, I just want to make sure that you don't feel uncomfortable being a little black jelly bean in the midst of all the pink ones. I don't know why she said pink, but that's literally how I felt, like a giant bowl of people that didn't look like me, and there were just a few specks in there, and I felt overwhelmed. And a few of the instances that I remember were, we had Unlearn Week. Unlearn Week was meant to, educate the campus about social injustices and racism. And I'm like, wow, that is really inspiring and that's really progressive. But then it got met with my fellow peers saying like, oh, here we go with I Hate White People Week. And I'm like, you didn't even go to any of the events that you were supposed to. I feel like people purposely stayed away from the harder conversations that need to be held and wanted to instead go to the drum circle. So that automatically, it just showed me how a lot of the students weren't interested in being actively anti-racist, which was really hurt. And then it wasn't just the students, it was also my professors and the alumni. I worked with the phone-a-thon calling alum, trying to get money to come into the school. And I remember talking to a gentleman and he says, Courtney, you've just been so nice and so respectful. You must be a young, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. And I was like, I'm not actually. I actually have dark hair. And he was like, well, if you ain't Dutch, you ain't much. And that's been a quote that I've heard so many times. And I don't think people realize how hurtful that can be to who they're speaking to. And he had no idea who he was speaking to on the phone. And he was like, so what does your hair look like? And I'm like, I have a nice Afro puff. And he was like, oh, so you look like Michael Jackson. And I'm like, okay, this is time for the call to end. And things like that, is people don't realize the hurt that comes from them and their microaggressions. They're small things that nitpick and eat at you that some people hear as jokes, but when it's happening to you on a daily basis, it really does eat away at you. But I think the hardest was the event that we called Snowmageddon, where actually a really good friend of mine was going outside to his car, and in the snow, written on his car, was white power, and the cars next to him were swastikas. And I don't think the person knew that they wrote on a person of color's car, but the pictures went viral and we knew that things needed to be done. And though we got a lot of people who were ashamed of that, we also got a lot of people saying that we were overreacting and that we couldn't take a joke, which it shows how a lot of problems and issues in the Black community people don't see as serious, because there's some things that you don't joke about. You don't joke about sexual assault because it's heinous, it's wrong. You don't joke about the Holocaust, it's heinous, it's wrong. There's a lot of things you don't joke about, and the fact that we talked about racism and they felt like it was a joke, it just shows how some people aren't saying this as something that's heinous and wrong. And it's definitely things that have been ingrained in your mindset that need to change. So I just think back to my history class, and they were asking what time would you want to go back in time to? And I said, I wouldn't want to go back in time because I would have to experience slavery, racism, segregation. But then I think now, seeing George Floyd, it's 2020, and I don't have to go back in time to experience these things. And my time is up, but I just want people to know that though we see names, these people could be the people that you see sitting on the panel right here. Breonna Taylor went to my high school, and it's personal. It's getting personal. It's not just a hashtag. It's the people in your community.
All right, thanks, Courtney. Sorry, I didn't realize that that timer did that. That was awful. I'm really sorry about that. That was so heartfelt and so good. So thank you so much for speaking to that. It was such powerful words and definitely something I think we all can learn from that. So next up we've got is